Well, good morning and welcome to another edition of Expert Alert. I'm Jim Tabor, your host. This is where we bring in professionals from along the Gulf Coast and different businesses to answer questions that you might have or you might be wondering about. And of course, when it comes to finances, nobody better than Carrie and Jennifer Milligan from Strojny Financial. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Thanks. That was
Good to have you here this morning. Now, there's been some changes here recently as far as taxes. The federal government has kind of extended the deadline
Right.
to get your taxes in. State of Mississippi, no, you still got to get it.
Well, actually, they did revise that.
Oh, did they? Okay, I must have
did,
missed that
yes.
news story.
They just came out 2 weeks ago and said, okay, we are going to follow suit with the federal, and we'll go ahead and extend until the May 17 deadline. However, for both federal and state, if you pay quarterly estimates, first quarter is still due April 15th.
Okay.
So make sure you don't miss that first quarter estimate. And if you had corporates or partnerships that were, or S corps and partnerships that were due back March 15th, all this happened after that deadline. Those were due. You needed to have extended those timely.
Okay, so there's been a lot of changes to unemployment right now because a lot of people that are unemployed and they choose to do so because they're getting those unemployment checks. They don't have to work and all that. So I know there's a lot of businesses that are, especially restaurant businesses that are in need of good employees. So,
There are.
But there have been a lot of changes to unemployment.
Yes. So just with this stimulus, stimulus package that was passed 2 weeks ago, they did retroactive things that affected your 2020 tax return. Typically, it's only in the current year where this happens. But since so many people were unemployed, they wanted to try and give them a little bit of a tax break. And what they did was they said the first $10,200 of unemployment per spouse was tax free. Okay, and so that's great. So that happened, and so what's happening now? A lot of people, I know just for myself, 30 returns had already been filed. That had unemployment on it. So I want everybody to know out there, if you had filed your tax return before this happened, you don't amend. You do not want to amend. You wait, and they will correct that. The IRS is working through that to send you money back. Okay, so like if you've had to pay in, they'll send you money back, or if you've got a refund, you'll get more of a refund, and they're going to handle that on their end. But that was pretty a pretty special thing, because normally this doesn't happen in the current year for previous.
And unemployment in Mississippi is taxable.
It is taxable.
Yes, Mississippi is still taxing it. They did not follow the federal lead on that. It's very confusing about what the state is following the federal on and what they are not. There's a lot of divergence, and then a couple of things that are the same.
That's why they need to call you and find out.
That's what we're here for.
What about if they've already filed?
So if they've already filed, that's what Carrie was saying. You do not file an amended return.
Right.
You do not change anything. The IRS, which this is sort of unprecedented, said they are going to manually fix those returns inside their computer. We don't do anything. You don't do anything. Just sit back and wait. Because when that first came out, everybody was rushing in, wanting to get the returns amended.
Right.
And they have said, do not do that. That's going to overwhelm us. Let us fix it in the computer. We'll automatically send your any refunds due.
Okay. We did get someone sent in a question. I get the government health insurance through Ambetter Magnolia Health. I heard there is a change around that.
Yes. So this is another one of those retroactive that affects tax returns we've already filed this year. So what happens with that government health insurance is there's the subsidy piece of it, right? So depending on your income, you pay part of the premium, the government pays part of the premium. And then when we do the tax return, we reconcile to see, did they give you too much or did they give you too little? And we even that out on the tax return depending on what your actual income was. Well, if you owe back, it's called the premium tax credit repayment. Okay, so if you got too much subsidy during the year because you thought your income was going to be this and then it was higher, so you got too much subsidy, there's a repayment. This new law took that repayment away. You don't have to pay it back. However, IRS is working on stimulus and they're working on unemployment, so they have not even corrected the form yet for us to be able to fix that for you. So all those returns are on hold right now.
So they're not able at this point to be electronically filed.
Right,
So
and I wouldn't recommend mailing them in and trying to manually correct it because they're not going to know what to do with that till they correct the form.
Once again, while we've got an extension here.
Yeah.
That's
And what about these extended deadlines? I mean, I guess it's a good thing.
Well, I will tell you, for us personally, this is one of the hardest tax seasons we've had because the Internal Revenue Service was behind. You know, COVID has affected everyone. Them too, they shut down, you know, back in March and April, whatever, and we're on limited staff for a while. Then we start going into all these laws that got passed. Once they get passed, they go to the United States Treasury, then to the Internal Revenue Service for interpretation, right? They had to rework a lot of you know, things maybe on the 1040, new forms, many new forms and schedules and worksheets that they had to do for all this. So
Because the first tax law change was like December 28th. Then we got this new one 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
And so what they did, they said, well, you know, normally they open electronic filing where they'll receive the returns somewhere around January 25th, 26th, 27th. They didn't open until February 12th. So I know for us, we're not exactly excited that it got moved back, but we really needed it because many of our clients did not come in. And I saw this, it wasn't just our clients, it's across the country, and it's in people that file their own tax returns on TurboTax and different things like that online, that electronic filing was down by 50% year over year at one point because everybody was waiting. You know, and so we had 3 weeks where we were really slow. So by them giving us an extra 4 weeks, that is going to help us because it's been an extreme bottleneck that we've had.
Is it taking longer to get refunds back for those who are getting refunds? Or is it
I've
still kind of
heard
average?
mixed reports on
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So some people are getting them back on the regular 2 to 3 week schedule, and some people have called and said, "Hey, can you check and make sure it went through? Because I haven't got mine. It's been a month, and the tax returns have been accepted."
And
So
I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this, it seems to me people that said they did not get their stimulus, right? You're able to get it on your tax return if you meet the parameters for the recovery rebate, and it seems like they may be running slower.
Right.
You know, that maybe because they have to check as another system or something, you know,
Yeah.
so.
And I will make a plea on behalf of tax advisors everywhere. Don't hold your stuff till May 1st. Go ahead and get it into us. Just because we've got this extension doesn't mean that we can, I mean, we still, if we end up with a 2 week rush, it's going to be very difficult to process everything and to get everything correct. We had storm damage this year. We have the unemployment changes. We have the premium tax credit returns we're sitting on. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. The sooner we can get your stuff in and get you in the queue to be filed, if you can't be filed right now, the better off everybody is.
Okay. So when do I have to make my IRA contribution by?
Okay, go ahead.
It's been extended as well. So it's always by the due date of the filing. So in this case, it's May 17th. Okay, and I think corporates and
Yeah,
partnerships.
so
have
the
some-
traditionals and the Roths are going to go with the extended tax deadline because the actual code says the due date of the return, not April 15th. So they moved to May 17th. However, if you have company plans, SEP IRAs, things like that for your corporates and your partnerships that were due back in March, again, all this happened after that deadline. So those are due by the filing deadline of that return, which was March 15th, unless you filed an extension.
and just
And then
make
the SEPs get the
one clear. The
extension.
SEP gets the extension if you're a single member or sole proprietor.
Right.
That doesn't
Okay.
fall with the court. Yeah.
Any other news that we should know of?
Child
Tax credit for what year are we in now? 2021
yeah.
has been increased. So that has been increased. If your AGI married filing joint is under 150,000, from 2,000 to 3,000
Per child?
per child. If the child is under,
3,500. Isn't it?
no, it's 3,000. Yeah,
Gotcha.
no, but if it's under the kid's 5 and younger, so basically under 6, it's 3,600. And now what they're going to do is they're going to try, and this will be interesting, but they're going to try and start sending checks out to people for at $250 a month starting in July. So if you were getting 3,000, you're going to get 1,500, you know, on your return, but 1,500 during the year, unless you opt out. They're going to create a portal on the Internal Revenue Service, at least this is the plan at this point, to say if you want to opt in or opt out. If you'd rather get it all back on your tax return or have the money come to you during the year.
On a monthly pay, on a monthly situation.
Be one more thing to keep up with for next year. On top of your stimulus and all the stuff you've never had to keep up with before.
Hey, I have so much respect for you, for y'all, you know, and the people that do that kind of thing, to have to deal with all the different laws and you know, and to know exactly what it is, because these, I mean, your people are depending on you.
Yes.
To get all this right and to be knowledgeable. That's why we love having you on the show. Share the
thank you.
information on that. And
Yeah.
but anyway, our time is up, so I guess we will see you next month.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thanks,
Strojny Financial, Jennifer and Carrie Milligan are here with us, and if you have any questions, you can always give them a call. Strojny Financial Services, they're on Pass Road in Biloxi, just on the east side Keesler Federal Credit Union.
Right.
All right. Thank you for being here again with us on this edition of Expert Alert.
If you have a question for any of our experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert. For a list of any of our upcoming experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert.